how did you first find crypto and come to join Coinbase?
So I've always been an internet person. Like in middle school, I was really interested in sneakers. I was, buying and selling and collecting Jordans and Nikes, and I played a lot of basketball. So I was super into sneakers, and I was spending a ton of time on Nike Talk, which is kind of the early sneakerhead forum. So I've just always kind of gravitated towards the internet, even more so than like the physical world around me in some ways. I think I'm kind of unique in that sense where, when I first heard about Bitcoin, it was this Wired article talking about this magic internet money that was being used to buy guns and drugs on Silk Road, right? That was kind of the early media narrative. And if I asked the people in the physical world around me, what they thought, like everyone else at that time, they would have thought it was stupid and they would have told me not to spend any time on it, right? But I wanted to see who was on the internet talking about this. I stumbled across Bitcoin Talk, which was the first online forum for Bitcoin that was created by Satoshi Nakamoto, the founder of Bitcoin. And I saw on Bitcoin Talk that, the media narrative is one thing, right? Talking about this, magic internet money that was being used for illegal stuff. But the reality was very different. I saw kind of this community of people from around the world. They weren't aligned by physical location, but they were aligned by shared belief system and economic incentives. After spending some time on Bitcoin Talk, that's kind of what led me down the rabbit hole, and ultimately decided I wanted to make a career out of the space.
And you did make a career out of the space. You joined Coinbase.
Well, frankly, I got pushed out of Coinbase. Like I wasn't a great employee, I think is the truth. I think I did a lot for Coinbase in the early days, but I wasn't, when Coinbase got to a certain point where I wasn't great at kind of office politics and following rules and directions and stuff like that. And, at the time, I technically, left, and that was how it was framed to the company and things like that, but I effectively got pushed out. And at the time, that was very painful, right? That was probably one of the lowest points in my career, I would say, because I believed so much in both the space and the company. And I put a lot into the company as well. I think it was a great thing ultimately because it wasn't the right fit. But at the time, I was like, shit, what am I going to do now? I love this space. I know Coinbase is going to be a $1 billion company. Did I just fumble the bag?
Yeah.
What the hell am I going to do next? Right. It was at that point that, I decided that venture would be, what I could be world class at. Yeah. Coinbase, I was really good when it was just, a few people figuring shit out. I had, really good ideas, and I could just do stuff. And then once you get within a big company and it's like, there's all this bureaucracy and stuff, that's not what I'm good at. And I thought, I know the space really well. I think I see what's going on and I understand products better than anyone. So why not start a fund to invest and help the founders? That's how One Confirmation came to be, I guess.
I've just been thinking about how to phrase this politely in my head.
You don't have to be polite.
Okay, well then respectfully, you were kind of, I'm really sorry, by the way, for you being pushed out of Coinbase, but respectfully, it also made you who you are today, which is very, very successful. So congratulations in that. I often think sometimes the hardest elements can shape you. But no offense, kind of pushed out of Coinbase and then raising a $26 million fund, like that's quite a big jump, Nick. How does that happen? You either have a lot of rich friends. A lot of rich friends.
No, I don't have any really, I didn't have any really rich friends, I don't think, but I, had built a strong personal brand while I was at Coinbase. And I think that helped a lot, right? I wasn't just working at a company. I think a lot of people, to me, like working at Coinbase, it was more than working at a company. I was like working for an industry. Because, crypto was very, early, obviously, when Coinbase started. And Coinbase was kind of leading, the industry in a lot of ways. And I wasn't like a Silicon Valley person that just wanted to work for like a brand name company or something like that. Like I genuinely believe and still believe that, crypto is the most important social technology of our lifetime. And, I was going to do anything that I could to help it grow. that was kind of my mindset.
Was it easy to raise that first $26 million?
Well, what helped in between was after Coinbase, I ended up joining Runa Capital, which is a venture fund. It's not a super well-known venture fund, but really good Russian entrepreneurs that had founded a few multi-billion-dollar companies. That was kind of my bridge, while also doing a lot of stuff personally, right? So I started a newsletter called The Control at the time, where I was writing about the space a lot. I also founded an event called the Token Summit. If there's early kind of crypto people, they'll know. Token Summit is kind of a legendary event within crypto. It happened right before kind of tokens kind of took off in 2017, and it was kind of all of the best founders from around the world in the space coming together to talk about tokens and crypto. It was really cool. It was a 400-person event, and there was so much demand that tickets were selling on Craigslist for like 4 times the price that we were selling them for. So this was a really, big event at the time. A lot of what I've learned in my career is like, you need to be at the right place at the right time. It's like timing for both entrepreneurs, for venture, for whatever it is, like timing is really important. There were a lot of things that kind of came together for me. It was Runa, it was Token Summit, it was me continuing to believe in crypto and kind of build a brand. All that came together to help me, raise, as you asked, how did I raise a $26 million fund? That was kind of how I was able to do it.